President Jacob Zuma has survived a series of scandals during his 2 presidential terms. In the run-up to the 2009 election, Zuma battled allegations of rape and corruption. He would soon be acquitted of the rape charges, but the charges of corruption, money laundering and others stemming from a controversial $5 billion arms deal signed in 1999 have refused to dissipate.
So he's charged with fraud, he's charged with money laundering, he's charged with racketeering as well as tax evasion. Tax evasion because he didn't pay his taxes on all of the monies that he received on all of these proceeds of crime. And of course we need to bear in mind that his financial advisor Shabir Sheikh has already served time and has already been convicted for some of these offences. So that on its own is probably an indication of what lies next for the former president.
Zuma has always denied the charges, maintaining his innocence. He faces 18 criminal charges, over 783 payments he allegedly received linked to the arms deal. The charges were set aside just weeks before he became president in 2009. It's now up to the National Director of Prosecutions to decide whether to reinstate them.
I think at the end of this week, the National Prosecuting Authority will be announcing its decision as to whether it's going to reinstate those charges, bearing in mind that the courts have made it quite clear that the NPA has to do this, has to exercise its discretion in a rational manner. We also need to consider that it's not just about these charges, but there are also charges that might come out of the state of capture hearings. So that on its own means we can expect to see the president walking in and out of courts for the next number of foreseeable years.
If convicted, Zuma could face years in jail. Zuma has previously spent a decade in jail in Robben Island. He had been convicted by the apartheid regime of conspiring to overthrow the government. If he's convicted, the next question is whether the new president, Cyril Ramaphosa, would intervene to pardon him.
The law doesn't envisage any kind of immunity, regardless of the fact that he might have occupied the highest office of the land. We need to bear in mind that our law is really premised on the idea, on the principle that all citizens are equal before the law.
The governing ANC has already stated that Zuma has not asked for immunity from prosecution. The clamour for him to face justice has been growing in recent months. Opposition parties and some civil organizations have already stated their intention of ensuring that Zuma and whoever he allegedly conspired with to commit some transgressions face prosecution. On Friday, the National Prosecuting Authority will announce whether or not to prosecute Zuma. Yolisa, Njamela, CGTN, Pretoria, South Africa.